Hey guys, it is Mike. I'm here for installment number 10 about our conversion, and wanted to show you guys how to breed some mares and some he mares and explain some of the differences in the current game and the upcoming game. Before I did that, I wanted to tell you that I'm really enjoying listening to Spotify. If you don't have a Spotify account, get one and get on Facebook and share with me what you're listening to. I just think it's hilarious. Right now, I've got an album cover from an album called Trailer Park Rock Hits, and it's got some girl in a bikini and an orange Mustang on it. It's quite hilarious. What they do is they get bands to redo their hits or get different artists to do them, so they don't have to pay as much for the royalties, and they can release an album full of songs. Right now, I'm listening to Train Train by Blackfoot, but they redid it, so it's still Blackfoot, so I can't go wrong with that. Anyway, I'll shut up and get on to breeding. I don't think you guys care about my music. But what I'm going to show you here is we'll start with Steve French. Steve French is a 4-year-old filly. Don't ask about the name. It's actually a Trailer Park Boy reference. But we're ready to retire her, okay? She's a 4-year-old female. Now remember, the way we're going to retire her is it's pretty simple, okay? Right now she's training, but I've changed my mind. She don't have to race. So we'll click the training bar. We'll go to the farm. And it's going to show us... we have to send the horse to the farm before we can train it, or before we can breed it. That's different. Now you actually take a mare and you simply breed it while it's in your stable. Now you send her to the farm, retire her at the farm, and then you can use her. So we're going to retire Steve French, but first we have to send her to the farm. Send her to the farm. I really don't care about the date because I'm going to turn around and retire her instantly. And there we go. As you can see, she's at the farm now. That changed. Don't really want to transfer her, but I can retire her. So let's click to verify that. And let's retire old Steve French. And as we can see, Steve French is gone. The next step that we're going to do is take Mr. French, or Mrs. French, I guess, and breed to her. So what we want to do is let's go to our breeding page. And we're going to have to find our mares. Probably the best way to do this is simply put my available mares and hit update list, and it's going to show you the available mares I can breed to. I don't put in any of this. Had I put in Ordway, she would have popped up anyway, but the way that you can get all your mares is simply don't put anything into the mare's sire. Alternatively, you could search for mares and do it this way, but this is probably the easiest way. So here's Steve French. She's 4, okay? So what I want to do, I found Steve French. That's good. There's a column called Use. What you're going to see on Use, and we'll breed a couple of horses here, but since this horse is mine, I have, she's part of this E. Bryant stable that I own part of, so I can breed to her at no extra cost, okay? So let's go ahead, and all we have to do is click the Use column. Now what it's going to do is it's going to give me a nice little message and warn me. It's going to say, hey, I haven't hooked up a sire share to breed with this horse yet. And that's true. So what I really need to do even before I breed, I wanted to show you at least what happens here and why it does it. You need to go ahead and pick the share you want to pick, okay? So, but I'm going to go back to the Find Mares. I'm going to look at old Steve French again and see what her breeding is. See what this horse's pedigree is real quick. Let's click on it. And we have an Ordway by Johannesburg by Wild again. Really, those are, we got some Storm Cats and some Deputy Ministers. I don't think I've got anything too much is going to cross here. So let's go ahead and pick a sire share to throw with it. Okay, so we go to my shares. Here's my fabulous shares. Remember, I have to breed her to it. The offspring's going to be a 2-year-old, so I have to pick something that has a 2-year-old. So this Affirmed Deacon wouldn't work because he's only eligible for 3-year-olds. Let's pick all these great horses. Let's go with Master Craftsman. What is his pedigree? It's been a while. Danehill Dancer. You know what? I think this might be a decent little pedigree. So let's go ahead and choose Master Craftsman. All right. Then what I'll do is I'll go back to the sire or Find Mares, and it'll speed up a little bit probably if I type in Ordway. It's the way that queries work generally. As you give them more information, actually it's going pretty slow, but there we go. He's up again. What's over here is there's a dam rating column, and it uses the same, or it's actually the mare rating. It uses the same heat index. Pretty much what it's doing is it is going to, over time, the more horses, the more offspring that a dam has, this column's going to get more and more red. So Steve French has no offspring, so she's got a 0 dam rating. If this horse, say, turns out to be a world beater, and you know, over time this will slowly graduate to a lighter blue, yellow, and red. Unlikely for old Steve here, but you know, is what it is. So anyway, we do have the sire share picked. We're going to click the mine, and you're going to see quite a few things. I'm logged in as test case, but okay, but all sires you selected are active for this, but not all sires. Okay, so I think what I need to do is I need to just log in as E. Bryant. Let me check my shares. I don't even remember what. Let me see. Oh, it's a Coda stable. So see, it's a good thing that I'm running into all sorts of problems here because I have to breed it to Coda. It doesn't matter which stable the mare was in, but the share does matter where it starts. So let's go ahead with the Coda stable now. Click Coda. And now we're logged in as Coda. We're going to go back to the Fine Mares. So yeah, you get to see me stumble around, but this is good because it's probably what you're going to be doing for the first week or so until you figure everything out. And honestly, I haven't done a lot of work on this myself. I've been busy programming. I haven't been able to play as much, so I'm a little sluggish. So it's good to see. So anyway, now I hit mine. Okay, now we have it because we logged in as Coda. We used a share that was a Coda share. Had it been purchased using credits, any of your stables could have used it, but it has to be Coda because that's where the share belongs. I'm going to see a few things here. We have Ireland or New Zealand to choose from, and that is because our sire, Master Craftsman, stands in both Ireland or New Zealand. So you actually get to pick. Some horses do the shuttle service, so if you have a I think Bernardini does some standing in Australia as well as Kentucky, so if you wanted to pick him in Australia, you could. If you want to pick him in Kentucky, you could, but we're looking Master Craftsman now. I want to go with New Zealand. That's a shout out to my friends in New Zealand. Nothing against my boys in Ireland, but Hawks is in the game, and I know he'll get a kick out of a New Zealand bred. So anyway, we did that. And the breeding type, and this is kind of important to note, you'll notice that we bought the share with points, okay? So if we use points to breed, okay, breeding with this mare for the first time costs 100 max or the number of points. So it's going to cost me 53 points to breed with this mare. The share was 53. Breeding with the mare cost you, for the first time, either 100 points or the price of the share. And that's, you know, that's just the first time. It changes later. But you'll notice that it's actually less than it used to be. I think it was up to 125. So we're going down a little bit here. And unfortunately, I only have 48 points in Coda. Points remaining after this breeding would be -5 because 48. The sire share is 53, but that's not what this 53 is. This 53 is because the sire share is 53, but it's not the sire share. Breeding with the mare for the first time cost the price of whatever the sire share was, up to 100. So I don't have enough points, but I could use credits. So yeah, what you're also going to see here is credits, because I got enough credits. It does cost me 53 for the first time. Now what you're going to see using mare and credits with a point bought sire, you're going to see this later on, and I'll show you what happens when we try this. If you try to use credits for a sire share you bought with points, for a mare that's been used more than once, then you do get, that does cost you a little more. And the reason is because in the current game, actually, when you use a mare the second time or the third time, you actually get the cost of the sires at the time. That's not the case anymore, so this actually should bring your cost down, generally speaking, but you know, I'll give you an example. But anyway, we can use credits, so it's going to cost me 53 credits for this breeding. The male name, we'll call him Master Frenchman. How's that? That sounds as good as anything. Frenchman. And we're going to Master Frenchman. And confirms. Now you see the box wasn't there until I hit confirm. So hopefully when I hit this, what's going to happen is it'll take 53 credits away from me. And after that, we'll have Steve French's offspring in our stable. Let's see, breed the horse. Okay, breeding's been successful, and it says most of them happen within 5 minutes. This one's actually not going to happen within 5 minutes, and I'll tell you why. I've got some back-end stuff where I'm trying to keep the old sim and the new sim in line. So the back-end stuff is running right now, and I've paused the sim, so actually the game is not running right now. I'm probably getting an email about the 6 o'clock races, but I do have to keep these as lined up as I can. But that's all it takes to breed a mare. So I retired her. I went and bred her for the first time. I'll show you, let's go ahead and breed to a mare that I haven't owned, and that'll be interesting. Let me go ahead, I'll find mares, and I'm going to pick all available mares. This is like CPU mares. So when you go to find mares, you can do my mare, all available mares. If I have a particular mare sire that I'm looking for, I could type it here. Let's type in the word Seattle just to see what shows up for Seattle. This could be Seattle Slew, Seattle Fits, Seattle Dancer, and you'll see there's some Seattle Slew, Seattle Dancer, Dance to Seattle. What it will also give you here is the cost. Now remember, currently to breed to a mare that you didn't used to, that you don't have any claim to, it will be a flat $250. That cost is going up and down, and I'll explain that to you. At the beginning of the year, it's actually going to start out very high. It's going to start out at 500 credits or 5,000 credits. I know that sounds extreme. I don't expect anyone to use that, but it does give people the opportunity to, you know, as the price comes down, and it'll come down quick. As you can see, it's August now, and we're down to 102. So since January to August, it's gone from 5,000 to 102. And the reason is, as well, is that, remember, when you breed to a mare now that's already been bred to, you don't get the cost of the sires currently. So like previously, if you bred to a Stormcat mare with a, you know, who knows what underneath, Danehill, then just breeding to that mare, you'd have the 250, but you would also get dinged for the cost of Stormcat and the cost of Danehill at that time. Those costs have disappeared. So even though the, you know, the five, you know, I'm not going to disagree with you. The 5,000 is extreme. When we start getting down to even say 1,000, you're actually still getting a better deal than you get now, because now you pay the 250 plus, you know, the cost of the sire, and now you only pay the sire share, and you can get sire shares cheaper. So actually, like I said, I do expect some, you know, I know there's going to be a little belly aching, etc., but really it's going to be cheaper this way. So but say, for instance, you know, I'm gonna pick one of these mares here in a minute, but I do have to end this video now because I'm running out of time. I'm at about 13 minutes. So what I'm going to do next video is I'm going to go ahead. Before I do that, let's look. I'm going to try to breed this. Let's see who I want to breed to. I'm going to breed to a Seattle Slew. G-War. Let's see what G-War looks like. Old G-War, Seattle Slew, Mr. Howard. I can't believe the Seattle Slew is 20. This is her last year to breed. She has never had an offspring. So we're going to give G-War her first offspring in the game when we return. So let's see. Mr. Howard is a Mr. Prospector, Seattle Slew. So we'll find something interesting to hook up. But that's it for this video now. And we'll get to see some more here in a few minutes. But I will let you go, and I'll talk to you in a few minutes. See ya.